Hey y'all, how you doing? I'm hanging in as always. Today was a very difficult counseling session. Uh, and then after that, I had to leave and go get my pre-procedure testing done. Next week, I have an endoscopy, colonoscopy scheduled because my surgeon wants to make sure there's not a whole lot more additional esophageal damage from my reflux. That way, uh, we have a better chance of success doing the LINX system for fixing my reflux issue. So, fingers crossed it all goes good. That's next Wednesday. So, you know, got a lot going on. um, when I saw Jasmine last week, no, 2 weeks ago, um, she had me write a letter to my brother, and I did that, and then I read it to her. I'm not going to read it to you all, but I am going to talk about it. It is extremely crucial in my healing to discuss my thoughts of and actions when it comes to my brother, and not just him, but his wife. um you know I've talked before about how mom always said he was her favorite and she didn't like me. So I resented him before I even knew what resentment was. And in in my childhood mind, he was the reason I didn't get what I needed from her. Never mind the fact that he didn't get what he needed. I didn't understand that, nor would I really have cared at the time that he didn't. Only now does it break my heart knowing that he didn't get what he needed from her either. Um, but all my life he was to blame for me not getting affection from my mom. So he was never my brother. He was just my competition and the one to blame for me not being emotionally supportive. Um, and that, I after I got married, I tried pushing that down and overcoming it. And for a while I did. Um, before for a little while before, and then for a while after I had Christopher, me and my husband and John and Donnie and our kids all lived fairly close to each other. And we all had a pretty good relationship. But as my marriage started experiencing issues, I started changing. Damn fruit flies. And my changes brought out my insecurities, and it made me start showing those insecurities in irrational ways. I started seeing John as the competition again, whereas his marriage was going perfect in my eyes and mine was failing. Then that just became another contention between us in my eyes, that he was the golden child and I was the fuck up. I always bounced from job to job, whereas, he fought to get into the military and he stayed there. And, he had that one marriage and 2 kids with his wife, and for me, after my first husband and I split, then I was with Sean, and then Sean and I split, and I was with my second husband, and then that split. And with each failed relationship and with each failed career, he became even more of the golden child, and I became more of the fuck up in my eyes. Every time I would talk to mom and dad, I don't think it was truly there, but I imagined I could see the pride in their eyes when they talked about John, because he had that career military and he had that one successful relationship, no divorce, whereas I had these failed everything, 2 kids by 2 different fathers, no career, can't hold a job, can't pay my bills. And every time I was around my brother, I felt less than. Not from anything he ever did, please. Please understand that. He never made me feel that way. I made me feel that way. My own insecurities and my own fears made me feel that way. He never once made me feel any way and anything like that. He's never been anything but supportive of me, even though I have done nothing supportive of him. I have repaid his and Donnie's kindness with envy and jealousy and unkindness. Because I did not know how to process. I didn't know how to understand what I was feeling, much less how to process it. And, you know, as a cop, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And being ignorant of my own feelings and how they drive my actions is not an absolution of them, but I couldn't change what I didn't know I was doing. But now that I do know what I was doing, I can change it, and I want to. I've been a terrible sister without even realizing it, while accusing him of being a terrible brother. All the while, it's been me. A year ago, I would never have admitted this because I would have thought it made me look weak. I'm human, and I have made many mistakes. And the next time my brother and sister-in-law comes up, I'm going to talk with them and hopefully be afforded the opportunity to earn their forgiveness. Because I do want to. I want to learn how to be a good sister. Looking at my childhood, I had no good role model of what a woman was, or a wife was, or a mother was. The only role model I had was what a bad mother was. and what a mother I didn't want to be. That's the only role model I had. My entire life, I've been making it up all on the go and trying to piece it together as best I could. And I fucked it all up. Except being a mother. I haven't fucked that up. My kids have got it together. They are great boys, and I have not messed them up, thankfully. They have not followed my mistakes. They have not been damaged by my issues, thankfully. But the hardest part of today was when everything came full circle. You know, I mentioned that every time I was around my brother, I felt less than. He was the golden child, and I was the fuck up in my eyes. That's the way I felt. And I hope y'all don't judge me too harshly for this, but when Dad fell, I took care of him because I loved him. And because he deserved it. But my ego got the best of me. And in that time, I didn't feel like the fuck up. I finally felt vindicated. And then when John hurt Dad, I felt like the golden child and he was the fuck up. And I let that go to my head. And I didn't let anybody forget it. Everybody hurt Daddy but me. Everybody let him down but me. And I didn't let anybody forget it. I was the golden child. I was his rock. And I lorded it up for everybody. I didn't even realize I was doing it. I just felt righteous and vindicated in those moments. And I didn't even realize it. And I was arrogant. I would not change my actions. And they did come from a good place because I loved Dad more than anything. But I let them turn me into a cold, callous person. And I let that anger and bitterness fester. And I held it deep in my heart and I just let it stay there. And I held on to it for dear life. And that's why I blamed myself for so long. Because I turned into the golden child, and then I proved everybody right that I was the fuck up. I was nothing. I let Dad die. In that time, I proved everybody right that I was worthy of nothing. I know that I know I didn't do anything wrong. I know it was out of my control. I know that now. I really do. I don't blame myself anymore. I really don't. But after Dad died, that's why I blamed myself so hard, because I went from feeling less than, feeling like the fuck up, that I was worthless, to feeling that I was that golden child, that I was worthy, back to feeling like that fuck up because Daddy died on my watch, and I just proved to everybody that I was that fuck up that everybody thought I was. And that's why I held that guilt and self-hatred for so long. And that's why nobody could tell me any different, because all these thoughts were so deep inside me. I didn't even know how to address them. And even with my counseling, my counselors were good, but they weren't near good enough to get at these thoughts. I was nowhere near ready to get this deep into myself, to admit it to myself, much less to a counselor, much less to a camera and to post a video online admitting this to people that will watch it. I've taken a lot of steps over the past couple years to get better, to do better, to change. I want I want to change. I want to be that better person. And this shit hurts. Admitting to these horrible things I've done. I feel ashamed. But I'm human. And I've held on to resentment long enough. And I am strong enough to let it go. And I am strong enough to take steps to repair damaged relationships. I just hope I can be afforded the chance. Trust me, I judge myself very harshly. I just hope you don't. But I am learning to give myself compassion and grace, because I do deserve that too. I have hidden from myself for so long. That being willing to look at myself as naked and bare as I am is taking all of my strength and all of my courage. And I am tired, but I am not giving up. I will continue to do this, and I will continue to fight. And I will continue to look at the why behind the actions. And I hope others can grant me grace and give me the chance to right wrongs. So I am going to end this now. I'm tired. I'm going to lay down. It's still pretty early, but I think I'm going to probably try and take a nap because I am exhausted. It's been a long day. So if you have watched this, I do appreciate it. And please don't judge me too harshly. And I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I love you. So you have a great evening. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.